From afar, the Danvers State Lunatic Asylum stands majestic. Yet, beneath its grandeur lies a history that few would want to remember. The grounds of the asylum hold tales from the Salem witch trials. John Hathorne, a fervent magistrate in the trials, once resided on this very hill. Could the remnants of those trials have added to the haunting aura of the asylum? Built on Dr. Thomas Kirkbride's vision, the hospital was a beacon of hope. Advocating for light, air, and respect in treatment, the asylum was designed to heal. Its infamy reached the annals of pop culture. Lovecraft envisioned horrors here, and DC Comics depicted it as a house of deranged minds. Yet the reality was far more sinister than fiction. Danvers became synonymous with the prefrontal lobotomy. Many suffered under the knife, their lives forever altered in the name of cure. From a hopeful start for 450 souls to an overflowing prison of despair with over 2,300, the walls of Danvers began to close in. Lack of funding and neglect led to its downfall, turning it into a den of neglect and cruelty. While some sought solace, they found torture instead. From brutal lobotomies to confinement, the harrowing reality of Danvers was a far cry from healing. In 1939 alone, 278 souls departed, becoming mere numbers in death as they were in life. Their identities erased, but their stories remain, felt in every gust of wind that sweeps the cemetery. Ghost stories became synonymous with the hospital. On stormy nights, a spectral presence could be felt walking the attic, adding to the chilling legends. While most of the asylum has been transformed for modern living, the tales of its past continue to draw in the curious and the brave. Many claim that Danvers still holds secrets. West Virginia, 1858. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum begins its construction, standing tall with a promise of a revolutionary approach to mental health. Designed to be a beacon of hope, its walls would soon bear witness to some of humanity's darkest moments. Standing majestically against the backdrop of West Virginia, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum emerges as a conundrum of beauty and bleakness. Its brick walls, crafted from hand-cut stone masonry, which once promised a refuge for the troubled, would later become silent witnesses to horrors unimaginable. Thomas Kirkbride, a pioneer of compassionate mental health care, envisioned an establishment that was more than just a containment facility. He dreamed of a place of healing, where sunlight and fresh air would be as essential to recovery as medical intervention. Architect Richard Andrews brought this vision to life, creating a sprawling structure that resembled a castle more than an asylum. And for a while, it seemed Kirkbride's vision had come to life. The asylum's spacious corridors buzzed with hope. Patients found solace in private rooms bathed in sunlight, and the surrounding land was meticulously cultivated to sustain and nurture. But the weight of societal stigma, combined with an ever-expanding definition of mental illness, led to severe overcrowding. By the 1950s, the building was holding 10 times the number of residents it was designed for. The hallways that once echoed with hope now resonated with despair, as overcrowding turned sanctuary into a prison. Over time, the promise of individual care faded. Overburdened staff struggled to control an institution bursting at its seams. The very walls that were meant to provide refuge became cages, confining patients in deplorable conditions. Fires were set, and violence became a grim reality within these walls. Among the dark chapters of Trans-Allegheny's history, one stands out with chilling prominence: Walter Freeman's experimental lobotomy laboratory. His methods, gruesomely invasive, stripped thousands of their essence, leaving behind mere husks. The world outside remained blissfully ignorant until the courage of investigative journalism shone a light on the asylum's shadowy corners. The revelation shook the nation, yet decades would pass before its doors were finally sealed. Today, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum stands as both a monument to past medical ambitions and a chilling testament to its failures. Its legacy is complex, a mix of genuine intent, societal challenges, and the boundaries of medical ethics. Yet, for those who venture within its walls today, the asylum's story isn't merely confined to history books. Whispers, eerie silences, and fleeting shadows suggest that perhaps some remnants of its tormented past refuse to fade. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, where the boundaries between the past and the present, the living and the lingering, blur into an indistinguishable horizon. The Willard Asylum for the chronic insane, now a silent guardian of countless secrets, stands desolate amidst the serene landscapes of upstate New York. Once, it was a beacon of progressive mental health treatment. In the early 19th century, as mental health awareness began its journey, advocates like New York Surgeon General Sylvester D. Willard fought for better treatments. The backing of President Lincoln turned Willard's dream into reality, but Lincoln would approve this project just days before his tragic assassination. At the onset, the asylum's environment was revolutionary. With amenities rivaling luxury establishments, it aimed to provide solace and healing. The vision was clear: to transition from binding chains to the gentle hands of care. Willard welcomed its first patient in 1869, Mary Rote, described as demented and deformed, who had spent a decade in an almshouse. The asylum would later admit patients from horrific conditions, such as a girl shackled since childhood and another patient who arrived in a chicken crate. For Joseph Lobdell, a trans man, society's misunderstandings transformed his identity into a rare form of mental disease. Two tales, two diverging fates, under one roof. But, as time went on, the institution's policies and treatments began to cast shadows. Practices now known as harmful became the norm. Administrators held the keys to freedom, sometimes keeping patients caged within the asylum's walls for life. After the exposure of the conditions at Willowbrook Asylum by Geraldo Rivera in 1972, numbers in large institutions like Willard declined. By 1995, the asylum's doors were shut, leaving behind only whispers of its past. Today, parts of this colossal structure serve a different purpose, echoing both its legacy and controversies. Among the many tales, the discovery of forgotten suitcases in the attic became the asylum's most haunting memory. Each suitcase tells a story of a soul, their dreams and sorrows, forever etched in time. From Danvers' haunting lobotomies to Trans-Allegheny's echoing despair and the forgotten tales within Willard's attic, these asylums chronicle humanity's dance between compassion and ignorance. In their stories, we find the interplay of medical ethics, societal perceptions, and individual identities. Thank you for joining us on Stranger Realms TV, where the walls of asylums have stories, not just bricks.